morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, thank you all for being here. And I want to begin by welcoming our two newest board members, Alexis Blaine and Darren Block, a familiar face who's joining us in his new capacity as Senior Advisor to the Mayor and Director of the Office of Strategic Partnerships. And of course, Alexis is the Acting Counsel to the Mayor. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful to have Alexis and Darren bring their expertise and insight to the board's work, and I'm looking forward to everything that we can do together. We will have a very full plate moving forward. Last week I was reminded of, as we marked the 1-year anniversary of Hurricane Maria, I was reminded of not just the potential of the Mayor's Fund, but the effectiveness. In a time of great need, people from all over the city came together to support our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, and it was the partnerships that made all of that possible. And earlier this month, we welcomed back the city attorneys and social workers who went down to Dilley, Texas to help immigrant children and their families who were detained at the border. And once again, it was those private funders who helped us out, working with the Mayor's Fund, who helped make all of this possible. Now let me tell you, the stories that people brought back with them were so compelling and so moving. And it just goes to show you that we do have the power to make people's lives better in a very deep and really agile way. We're doing things that government can't do. Whether it's responding to these urgent crises, unlocking job opportunities for young people, or connecting underserved communities to mental health services, these partnerships are going beyond what government can do on its own. So, I'm very excited to continue working with all of you to build partnerships to meet the city's most pressing and sometimes unexpected needs. And I'm confident that our newly appointed Executive Director, Toya Williford, will build on the progress that we've achieved and take the Mayor's Fund to new heights. Toya has been with the Mayor's Fund for 4 years already. I can't believe it. It's gone so fast.
I can't
And she brings a wealth of expertise and experience in philanthropy and public-private partnerships to her new role. And I've worked with her over these last years, and I know her leadership will serve our communities very well. So, welcome, Toya.
Thank you. So before we get started with our formal meeting, I really want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm really grateful to be able to work by your side and support your vision for the Mayor's Fund and your vision for New York City. So thank you so much. It really means a lot. Welcome, everyone. We have several items for your review and approval today, a handful of administrative items, and then 2 programmatic items. First, I'd want to ask that everyone look at tab 1 so that we can review the minutes from the last board meeting and to see if anyone has any questions. Any questions on the minutes from our June 20th board meeting? If not, may I hear a motion to approve the minutes from June 20th?
Second.
Thank you, Megan and Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Motion carries. All right, so next on our agenda, we have several administrative resolutions. The first is the appointment of our board members. So the Mayor's Fund currently has 4 directors serving on its board of directors, and according to Section 2, Article 3 of our bylaws, we're able to appoint up to 7. So I would like to recommend that Darren Block, Senior Advisor and Director of the Office of Strategic Partnerships, be appointed to the Mayor's Fund Board of Directors, and you'll find that under Resolution Number 1. Are there any questions about that recommendation? Great. Can I have a motion to move this resolution?
So second.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Matt. All in favor? Any opposed? Great, that resolution carries. On to Resolution 2. I would like to recommend that Alexis Blaine, Acting Counsel to the Mayor, be appointed to the Mayor's Fund Board of Directors. Any questions or comments? Awesome. Can I have a motion to move this resolution?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Darren. Darren, thank you, Lincoln. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries. We're like using like fire. Thank you to you guys, and I look forward to working with both of you. Next, we have to appoint additional directors to our Finance and Audit Committee as well as our Governance Committee. So we'll look to Resolution 3. Pursuant to New York State's Public Authorities Accountability Act of 2005, the PAAA, the Mayor's Fund is required to have a Finance Audit Committee to oversee the annual financial audit report. The PAAA regulations also require the Mayor's Fund to have a governance committee for the purpose of providing oversight and policy development on matters related to board operations and to the conduct of our directors, officers, and employees. Lastly, according to Section 1 and Article 4 in the Mayor's Fund bylaws, the Fund's Board of Directors is mandated to select from among its members at least 3 directors who can serve on these 2 committees. So that's what we're going to proceed with today. We currently have 1 director, Matt Klein, who serves on both the Audit Finance Committee and the Governance Committee. I would like to recommend that Darren Block, Senior Advisor and Director of the Office of Strategic Partnerships, be appointed to serve on both the Audit Committee and the Governance Committees. Any questions about that process or his appointment to those 2 committees? Can I have a motion to move this resolution? Can I have a second?
Second.
First by the chair, second by Matt. Thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great, that resolution carries. Please turn to the next resolution. This is resolution number 4. And this is a request to appoint a 3rd board member to the Governance Committee. And I would like to recommend that Lincoln Ressler, Deputy Chief of Staff to the Mayor, be appointed to serve on the Governance Committee. Are there any questions? Great, can I have a motion to move this resolution?
Move the resolution.
Thank you, Darren. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alexis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful, that resolution carries. You turn your page to resolution number 5. This is a request to appoint a 3rd board member to the Audit Finance Committee. And I would like to recommend Alexis Blaine, Acting Counsel to the Mayor, be appointed to serve on the Audit Finance Committee. Are there any questions from the board members? Wonderful. Can I have a motion to move this resolution?
Move.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution carries. Please turn to the next resolution. So the last couple of items under our administrative resolutions will be the appointment of a secretary and a vice chair to serve on the board of directors. I recommend that Matt Everett, Deputy Chief of Staff for the Office of Strategic Partnerships, be appointed to the Office of Secretary of the Mayor's Fund Board of Directors. Are there any questions?
Just so folks are aware, this is a role that this position's actually served over the last several years. So what we're trying to do is just keep consistency. Folks who are available and focused on this work be able to support some of the board in this manner.
Awesome, thank you for the clarification, Dan. Any other comments, questions from members? Can I have a motion to move this resolution?
Move.
Thank you, Chair. Second? Wonderful. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution carries. Enjoy your new role, Matt. Welcome.
Thank you, Matt.
And the last resolution, number 7, it's a request to appoint Darren Block to the Office of Vice Chair of the Mayor's Fund Board of Directors. Are there any questions or comments? Can I have a motion to move this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Alexis. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lincoln. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution carries. Fantastic. Thank you so much for helping us get through those administrative items. Fred will follow up with our new committee members to answer any questions you might have about the role and expectations of these 2 committees. And in addition, we anticipate scheduling a meeting of the Audit Finance Committee in the next few weeks so that folks can review our audit, and then we'll bring that to the full board for approval. Thank you. Our next 2 resolutions, number 8 and 9, focus on 2 programs, Empowered NYC and NY Citizenship. I'm going to ask Leah Castamo, our our Senior Program and Policy Manager to join the discussion so that she can answer any questions that may arise related to these two programs. She is the point of contact for both of these programs and so is very knowledgeable about the inner workings. Pursuant to the Mayor's Fund's fiscal policies and procedures, we need to seek board approval to execute on contracts and program expenditures over $250,000 and for any operational payments over $25,000. So that's why we're bringing these two matters to your attention today. Resolution number 8. We are seeking your approval to execute a contract with the New York Legal Assistance Group, NYLAG, for an amount not to exceed $400,845 to provide free one-on-one financial counseling services to New Yorkers with disabilities as part of the Empowered NYC program. It's a new program that we recently launched. Empowered NYC helps New Yorkers with disabilities improve their financial stability through tailored one-on-one financial counseling. This program is part of Empowered Cities, a national program which is a $2 million national initiative that will help municipalities expand financial empowerment and economic inclusion for people with disabilities and their families. We're really excited because the Mayor's Fund recently received a gift from City Community Development for $1 million to launch this new initiative. Leah manages this program in partnership with the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities and with the Department of Consumer Affairs Office of Financial Empowerment. And so as I said, she's here to answer any questions you might have on this particular program. So I would like to open the floor up for questions folks might have about Empowered NYC.
Could you speak to why the focus on financial counseling for people with disabilities?
Absolutely. So this represents sort of a second wave in services for people with disabilities that we've launched recently. The first was NYC at Work, which is designed to connect people with disabilities with meaningful living wage employment. This second wave is designed to provide tailored financial counseling so that regardless of where people with disabilities fall on the spectrum of employment, whether they're actively seeking employment, employed, looking to transition off of benefits, or on benefits and have no intention of seeking employment, this program will provide them the ability to understand their financial circumstances regardless of where they fall and make the most of the income that they have. We're particularly focused on individuals who are looking to transition off benefits given the large amount of misinformation that's out there, the fears we encounter in the community about doing anything that might disrupt their benefits. And so this program is designed to particularly focus on that issue.
That's interesting. I'll add, I've been a part of a couple of the working groups that Commissioner Khaleesi and team have organized around this, and I know a lot of us have worked in this space on the ground, but that intersection of where individuals, they want the experience, the benefit, the support that gainful employment makes, but that interesting intersection of being fearful of losing their benefits and just understanding what all those intersecting parts are. They're really trying to sort of get at the heart of it, which has been a neat exercise. Can I just ask, you mentioned $1 million gift from Citi supporting this. Is that gift supporting both this and the next contract, or two different?
No, they're two totally different contracts. We just happen to have several partnerships with NYLAG.
But from the same pool?
No.
Okay.
No, totally different pools of funding.
Okay.
Citi is a funder on both of those projects, but the $1 million is committed only to Empowered NYC. There's a separate gift supporting NYC citizenship.
Thank you, Leah. Any other questions?
Is this modeled on our financial empowerment centers?
It is. It builds on a lot of the learnings, but this represents a more tailored approach to meeting people with disabilities. And this financial counseling pilot actually is the second level of counseling that we're piloting right now. The first is through webinars. It's broad community engagement that's being piloted by our partner, the National Disability Institute. As Toya mentioned, this is part of a $2 million initiative. $1 million went to NDI, and they are doing sort of the first level of counseling. New York City is piloting the second, which is one-on-one financial counseling.
And is that happening more by phone and in person?
In person, yes. We're actually going to have sites located throughout the city. NYLAG is going to commit 4 counselors, and they're going to rotate to different locations throughout the city.
This is a really exciting program because it's something we hadn't in the past engaged in. We've done a lot of work with OFE around financial education, tax prep, and city community development also invested in those programs. So this was a new investment expansion and really elevates the work that the First Lady is doing here with the Mayor's Fund on a national level.
Calling it a pilot, is there an intention to sort of draw some learnings out of this that can be used to inform other things?
Absolutely. The working group is looking at this with an eye to informing counseling programs throughout the country and possibly throughout the world. We believe this is a really unique program. It's particularly unique in how it interacts with NYC at Work. And so, yes, the idea is to inform other programs to launch throughout the country.
Thank you, Leah. Any other questions? I really do welcome the opportunity to have a dialogue so that our board members are knowledgeable about the programs that we're funding in partnership with city agencies. So please don't hesitate to ask questions at any time.
You know, my last thing, just to clarify, is the vendors have been designated by the funders involved.
Correct. Right. We did a lot of pre-planning work with our partners at City. We work quite closely with them, and so this particular vendor was identified through those conversations, and City then directed us to partner with them, and that often happens when we have close relationships with funders and we want to move things forward quickly.
I move the motion. Motion to move the item.
Awesome. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Lincoln. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 8 carries. Final resolution is a request to renew and extend our partnership with NILAD for a contract not to exceed $650,000 to continue our support of NY citizenship. As you all may recall from our last board meeting, NY Citizenship provides free, high-quality legal services to New Yorkers who are legal, permanent residents pursuing citizenship. So that just means they're literally one step away from gaining their citizenship, and this program helps them achieve that goal. The program operates in all 3 library systems and serves thousands of people. Again, Leah is the point of contact, and she manages this program in partnership with Moya, HRA, and NYC Opportunity. We were really excited to get some public dollars to support this private initiative. So thank you so much, Matt, for your support. Again, questions about our continued partnership. And again, this is our 3rd amendment, Leah? Yeah, 3rd amendment with NILAD for NY citizenship.
I know this is kind of case-intensive work. Do we have a sense of the number of people we're going to serve with this additional grant?
Sure, absolutely. We are looking to file 1,400 naturalization applications in year 3, so that's just this contract. Of those, sorry, I'm reading from notes. Of those, 400 will be from the HRA site, 700 will be low to middle income, and 1,000 will be from the library-based services.
Any other questions about this extension or continuation of our partnership with NILAD for NY citizenship?
The only thing I'd ask, and it might be a little bit of a random question, but do we have a sense of how big this population is that is sort of one step away? Because when I've heard numbers, they're astronomical, and so it's great work, and 1,400 served is tremendous, but like I feel like it's a huge population that is so close to the benefit of citizenship.
Sure, it's a huge population. I don't have that number of the overall population on the top of my head. Our outreach target is 10,000. So we're hoping to directly connect with 10,000 individuals who are eligible and meet our requirements.
Is over 100,000?
I honestly, I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't want to guess. I feel like it is fair enough.
It is knowable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, NY does have those numbers.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Would be good, yeah, would be good to know.
Great, any other questions? Can I have a motion to move this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Chair. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries. I am happy and quite relieved to confirm that this vote concludes the list of items requiring board approval. Thank you so very much for your active participation. So I'm going to quickly move into the executive director's report, and I'm hoping to keep it to a few minutes. As our chair said, this is my first board meeting, and so I'm really excited. And so I thought it would be helpful to set some context and frame work around the Mayor's Fund, our mission, and what our overarching goals are that both inform and guide our work. So as everyone knows, or hope you know, the mission of the Mayor's Fund is to cultivate innovative public-private partnerships that combine the incomparable reach of government with the entrepreneurial spirit of the private sector to create a stronger and more just city for all New Yorkers. So that completely aligns with what the First Lady is attempting to do and trying to do, and what the Mayor is trying to do. So we're really making sure that we are aligned with those goals and visions. To that end, I want to highlight a few organizational goals that will continue to inform our work moving forward. One, we strive to facilitate high-impact public-private partnerships. So we talked about that today with the partnerships we have with our city agencies and with NILAG. We also seek to raise private dollars so that we can make strategic investments in initiatives and projects that improve the lives of New Yorkers. Third, we work in partnership with over 50 city agencies and mayoral offices to develop and manage high-quality, evidence-based programming. And lastly, we really do strive to operate a high-functioning organization with internal procedures and policies in place that support the successful delivery of services and promotes positive staff development. So using those 4 goals as guideposts, I thought you might want to hear about a few projects that have been keeping us busy over the past several months. During our last board meeting in June, Darren mentioned a convening we had with the Altman Foundation and other funders who expressed an interest in bringing mental health services to immigrant communities. And this was an opportunity to expand upon the impactful work that the First Lady is doing with Connections to Care and Thrive NYC. Last week, we met with leadership from the Altman Foundation, Van American Foundation, and the New York State Health Foundation to discuss how we can integrate the New York City Mental Health Service Corps, which is a Thrive NYC workforce development initiative, into the fabric of immigrant service nonprofits, so we can begin to develop a clinical care capacity on site at these organizations. So our effort was to figure out how can we bring folks into the doors in these nonprofits where immigrants are known to be, they know these folks to be trusted and they don't have that fear of having to be referred out. So we really wanted to have clinical-based care on site. After that discussion, we were invited to submit proposals that will hopefully receive funding in December. I know we're working. And so this is an example of some of the partnerships that Darren and Gabrielle began to build and that I'm hopeful to continue through my tenure. Second, as our board chair mentioned in her opening remarks, we hosted a press conference in partnership with Commissioner Banks and Commissioner Mostifa to highlight our efforts to provide legal services for the families and children who were detained at the border. The Mayor's Fund, with support from our philanthropic partners, raised about $20,000 to support separated children in New York City, and then raised an additional $20,000 to send attorneys from New York City government to Texas to provide legal services. And I was there at the press conference with our chair, and it was really moving to hear about not only the private dollars that we were able to raise, but also the $4.1 million that the city then contributed to support detained families at the borders. And so again, this is an opportunity to see what we can do as a collective. On the programmatic front, we met with the selection committee from the Obama Foundation to discuss our application to the My Brother's Keeper Alliance Community Challenge competition. We were one of 35 applicants selected to move on to the final interview round. They received about 125 applications, and then after some internal review, they selected just 35 to move forward, and then they'll select a final 12 to receive funding. So we're working in partnership with GOP, Probation, NYC Opportunity, as always, and YMI to launch Mentors Rising. And this is a credible messenger model that will train young adults who were on probation to serve as mentors for young adults who are currently on probation. Our team at GOP and YMI has found that the young people who started in the Arches program, which is the program that Mentors Rising is based off of, kept coming back. They wanted the support, they wanted the ability to connect with adults who understood their experience and could help them get onto a different path. And so our application to the Obama Foundation will help provide that next step and that training for these young people in Mentors Rising. And then lastly, outside of programmatic work, we have organizational work. An exciting outcome from our annual meeting with city agencies this past June has been the creation and launch of technical assistance workshops for our agency partners, which I'm really excited that we're doing. This Thursday, Mayor's Fund staff will organize a workshop about how to get your concept on paper. We know our partners have great ideas and they're really enthusiastic, so we're going to help them get those ideas on paper in a very clear, concise, and compelling manner, and that's often the first step to getting funding. We like to work in partnership with folks so that we can serve as thought partners, so we're not just about collecting money and giving money out. It really is a dynamic, organic relationship that we have with our agency partners, and so this is one way that we can provide some additional services and supports to ensure that we're presenting the strongest case possible. And then in addition to this workshop that's actually going to happen this week, we also hosted a workshop on our procurement policies and procedures this past summer. And procurement can be really sticky within the city. Our procurement is a little more flexible, we have more leeway, and so we wanted to ensure that our agency partners understood the processes and the do's and don'ts, and so that's a workshop that we'll continue to host, and probably we'll do it again this late fall. So that's a sampling of some of the stuff that we've been up to, and I hope to, at each board meeting, bring forward new programs, new partnerships, both external and internal, that we're working on in partnership with the chair, in partnership with Darren at OSP, so that you guys as board members and officers are fully aware of the work we're doing and then fully aware of your role as board members so that you can serve as advocates and cheerleaders throughout the city. So not just within City Hall, but also out in the CBO community so that folks understand the magnitude and the power of the Mayor's Fund. So I look forward to sharing those updates and accomplishments at our next board meeting. I'm going to open it up to see if folks have any new business they want to discuss or items they'd like to share with their fellow board members.
Yeah, I'd just like to, if I can, one, just congratulate Toya personally. I'll say over the, Toya and actually Maya were two of our first hires at the Mayor's Fund, 4.5 some odd years ago. I'm thrilled to see Maya still contributing and supporting our city's operations and City Hall's operations. And I think you just saw a little sampling of what Toya has been doing to advance our work. I've joked, only half joked in the last couple of weeks that both of us are elevating into new roles almost entirely on the good work that Toya's been doing. So she's, so we both benefited from that. The city has. It's, but
it's a team effort.
Yeah, but honestly, like it's not just the skills and perspective she brings to the work, which I think is well aligned with where all of our sort of center is and our North Star is around helping New Yorkers and what we're doing for vulnerable New Yorkers and really looking at every corner. But the approach she brings to the work, the reputation, the experience she has around the space is almost unmatched. So we're thrilled to have her, and I think you saw a little bit of it. I'll bring a motion on that. The other thing that I just wanted to spot from that lineup was part of what our approach has been is that there is something inherently powerful in partnership. It validates your work you're doing. You can go fast alone, but further with many. And the type of work that we've been trying to support about creating this infrastructure around the city, because there's so much goodwill to support New York City and New Yorkers, both locally and across, that a small team at the Mayor's Fund can only do so much. So part of what Toya and her team has tried to develop is how do we creating some infrastructure at different agencies that can do that. And there are over 200 individuals around the city who have self-designated or clearly are doing some kind of partnership work. And the annual meeting that Toya mentioned is something that we try to pull them together and at least exchange good practices, hear what they're doing. But I think what you heard was a little bit of what she has been doing, and I think going to continue to do as an executive director of this organization, sharing that message of what we can do through partnership. And even though this one effort is focused on what we're doing around seeking dollars and funds, which is ultimately what the Mayor's Fund is uniquely situated to do, how we're advancing partnership that goes beyond just dollars in, and whether that's people power, assets, resources, thought leadership, this type of thing. And so, I just wanted to recognize Toya and the amazing work she's been doing and the perspective that she's been driving.
Thank you so much, Dan. I really appreciate that. So before we close our meeting, I just wanted to bring your attention to tab 2 of the board materials. You'll find some recent prep clips to review at your convenience. We always want to provide the opportunity for board members to see where we've been recognized in the past and where our work has been elevated. And so again, thank you so very much. Really excited to have our 2 board members on board, or twice.
I'd also just
I
like to
will,
note- sorry, I just wanted to note, I should note at the beginning, Deputy Mayor Thompson wasn't able to join us. He was pulled aside with a meeting with the mayor at the last minute, but I had been expected to join, but that's it's for, I guess, our secretary. That's,
thank you,
we
Dan.
note that in the minutes.
So again, my door is open. Please do reach out if you have questions, you have comments, if there are opportunities where you think the Mayor's Fund could play a role, please let me know, please let Darren know. I am very excited to work with you guys and really engage you in a meaningful way. So it's not just about lots of administrative resolutions, but really relying on your expertise, your connections, and your energy. Great. May I have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Chair. Can I have a second? Thank you, Darren. The meeting is closed.
All right.
Efficient. Love it.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.